to talk a little bit of gambling. Look, most of us might like a little flutter now and then. For me, only once a year, and it's the Melbourne Cup. I've always loved it. Research it. I've won a bit, but I've also lost a bit. But that's it, and that's all I do. I've never been online gambling, but it is big business. Online gambling is neither legal nor illegal in New Zealand. It's a kind of legal grey area. And the country's most recent gambling laws were created in 2003. It introduced regulation to land-based casinos, sports betting and lotteries. However, it never mentioned iGaming. And because New Zealand does not regulate online gambling, most online casinos in the country are located overseas. Casinos acquire licenses in countries like Malta and then offer their services to players in New Zealand. So for adults, it can be hard enough to know when maybe you might have an issue and you're spending too much. But can you imagine a child or a young person gambling online? According to a support service, children as young as 11 are racking up thousands of dollars in debt because of online gambling. The Ministry of Health's strategy to prevent and minimise gambling harm says research into secondary school students gambling found 1 in 3 had participated in gambling at some point in their lives. The link between online gaming features and gambling also posed risks for youth problem gambling. One of these problematic features is something called the loot box. You might be familiar with it. The loot boxes feature in the games they're virtual currencies which you buy and you use in the game. They often appear as chests, crates or card packs. In Australia, online games that feature loot boxes must be rated M. On average, people spend between $10 and $12 a month on loot boxes, but some people have spent up to $1,000 per month. The head of Mapu, Maia, is Pesio Ah-Honi, and she joins me now. Pesio, good afternoon.
Oh, good afternoon, Leah. Talo Falava and kia ora. How are you this afternoon?
Oh, kia ora. Thank you. I'm good. It's Friday. You know, got to feel good on a Friday. It's just
absolutely.
Firstly, thank you for being here this afternoon. And what does Mapu Maia do?
Sure. So we at Mapu Maia, we're a national gambling harm provider. We're a Pacific organisation, and we provide free prevention and intervention. So prevention is all the education, workshops, a lot of the raising awareness to the community around the harms of gambling. And then the intervention work is we provide also all the counselling, because we also know that people need extra support when trying to address their gambling habit. But we also provide support for affected family members or friends who were affected by someone else's gambling. And we have quite a lot of people ringing up because of either their mum's gambling or their husband or wife, and they need the extra support to be able to deal with it. So that's in a nutshell what we do.
Oh, that's great. I mean, it's great that you're there because that's the thing about gambling, isn't it, PCO? It's not just, someone in the family might have a gambling problem, but it will affect everybody because they could gamble away the rent or the the grocery money.
The grocery or the power money.
You're affecting everybody. But you've said you've seen an increase in school counsellors and social workers reaching out with concerns on problem online gambling among secondary students and even some kids at intermediate.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I know. The thing is, parents obviously, they could say, we'll stop gambling. But how can you make them stop? Because I'm not shaming parents. Kids get away with stuff all the time without parents knowing what they get up to. But how are these kids funding it? Are they like taking mum or dad's credit card? How does it work?
Well, there are lots of ways that students or kids that are accessing funds. So you'll be surprised, and I'm surprised how many teenagers have their own bank accounts with their own debit cards.
Oh, not in my day.
Well, it wasn't in my day either.
Yeah.
And so you can pay things on the internet with a debit card.
That's right. Yeah.
You can also, I've seen parents trust their children with their credit card, maybe to buy an online purchase, a one-off. And nowadays you can save your credit card details online
yes.
and
Yeah.
access it.
Yeah.
So we have, there are lots of ways. Lots of teenagers have part-time jobs, get birthday money or Christmas money. What we've seen is young as 11 or 9 years old are gambling away their lunch money at school, playing a game of betting who's going to flip the best bottle top and who's going to win this race. And it becomes very normalised.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talking amongst young people about, what's the latest sports event that's on. I mean, State of Origin is really popular with our young men.
Yeah. Yes.
So is things like betting on the Warriors, and sports betting online is huge. It's hugely fun. It's got a lot of camaraderie. And lots of it is fun.
No, Pesio, can I ask you? Do you think then you mentioned like the Warriors and sports betting sites? Do you think these sites deliberately target young people?